Okay, so as we're kind of coming to the end of a month, we're going to work on writing some content for May. So this works no matter what month it is. Coming to an end of the month, I like to spend the last few days of a month writing content and preparing for the next month. So we've talked about this before, and what I like to do is I like to kind of come up with a monthly theme, mainly because it helps me focus my energies on what I'm going to post on. And on average, you know how you hear like people need to hear things like 7 to 9 times before it sinks. Well, when they're reading it online, they usually need to see it even more often than that. So you may feel like you're going to be a broken record talking about the same thing over and over and over and over again. But guess what? Most people aren't going to pick up on that. So we've talked before about kind of maybe what is your focus, and if you are kind of confused on what your focus is, picking one of those 6 packages or something else. So like my focus is very much fibromyalgia, and with that I talk a lot about pain management and inflammation. I talk a lot about sleep and energy. Those are some of the things, subcategories I talk about. So what does that look like for you? So what I did on this list, so you can kind of brainstorm, is that I kind of gave you some ideas, like how to be consistent with a healthy lifestyle, maybe some favorite healthy recipes, some favorite workout tips. For the month of May, May is actual mental health awareness month. So you could focus your whole month on this mood and kind of talk about this if you wanted to, some anxiety, some depression. For sleep, some ideas you could talk about is bedtime habits, tips for better sleep, stages of sleep. Immunity, we're definitely still in seasonal allergy season. That's not going away yet. We could talk about how to build your immune system. You can share some immune boosting foods or recipes. Under digestion, you could talk about what is leaky gut. You could talk about probiotics. You could talk about gut healing foods. And you could talk about how to get more energy, energy boosting foods, what causes chronic fatigue, those sort of things. So I kind of look, and sometimes I'll do like a brain map, is that what they're called? Where I kind of have my main idea in the middle, and then I'll have some subcategories and I'll break them down even more to kind of get some ideas. But one of the things I wanted to share with you is if you're like, I have no idea where to get ideas from. I thought I had Pinterest pulled up. I'll go to Pinterest. Okay. This is a great way to kind of search and come up with ideas. So if this month I want to talk about mental health awareness, I'm just going to put that in. And I'm going to see all of these different boards. And usually what I do is I create a board that kind of has ideas. I'm like, oh, this is a good idea. I can create like a little self-care check-in and write a post. A lot of times I don't even open these things and read them. It sparks my memory, almost like a vision board, but like an idea board to kind of help me like decide, what I could post about. I'm like, I could do something similar to this, like some exercises for your mental health, that sort of thing. So if you're ever like, I have no idea what to talk about, I have no ideas, this is a great place to go, because you can start seeing some of these and summarizing them and putting into your own words to come up with posts. So that is one thing I will do frequently. The other thing that's great about this is if I'm trying to do a Facebook Live and I'm running out of ideas, I'll do that as well. So even just reading an article and putting it into my own words is a great way to get ideas. Okay, so once I know what my theme is going to be for the month, then I need to put together my calendar for the month. Okay, so I put together kind of a generic calendar that you guys can use. You can use this or you can use a blank one. So last night in the group, I shared the blank one for you to fill in. And just now, because later last night, I created a Excel spreadsheet if you're like, I'd rather have it online. So you could use that. Just make sure you make a copy. And then I start plugging things in. Okay. So when I do this, a couple of things we need to look at first and foremost is, where are my happy hours for the week, for the month? Okay. So Corinne and I are going to do one around the Bella package on the 26th. So you could plug that in. So maybe I'm going to highlight that or whatever, so I know that that's what that is. Kristen Bruni has said she's going to do one on the 13th of May. Does anybody, I know she said the other night what the theme is, but now for the life of me, I can't remember. So does anybody know what her theme for the month is going to be? For some reason, I think she's focusing on the mood package because of the content, or because of.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, the mood package. Okay. So when I look at this, what I want to do is, if I know, okay, so here's a Thursday and I have this happy hour coming up, I want to make sure that I am talking about, so she's talking about the mood package or in this happy hour, and I'm going to invite people. I want these posts to have something to do with that, right? With a call to action. And I only do one big call to action. And so a big call to action is, hey, tomorrow night, I'm having an event where we're going to be talking about, tell what you're talking about. If you want, let me know if you want to come. So I'm going to come in here, and I like to plug in those call to actions before, so I kind of know. And it's like, this is going to be a big one, which is going to be invite to happy hour. It drives me nuts that it doesn't, so I gotta format it. Okay, that's gonna be my big thing, okay? Maybe this is gonna be more like a medium call to action. A medium call to action would be something like, I post about my story of anxiety and I ask, can they relate? It's kind of a medium one, kind of a big one, because that's kind of very personal. Sometimes people don't want to say, yes, I struggle with anxiety, right? But it's usually asking a blatant question like, do you struggle with anxiety? Okay, that's just an example, but it's something bigger, because what happens with that medium one is that, somebody says, yes, I can totally relate to your story. I totally get it. And then you can take it to a conversation and say, hey, how long have you struggled with this? And then invite them to the happy hour. So I might have a couple of like kind of medium calls to action, and I may have a small call to action. Sometimes I like to do things like, I don't know, like drop a GIF of, like, I don't know, one of my favorite ones is like, how do you feel about your metabolism? Drop a GIF below, which that doesn't really fit into this, but it could fit into this happy hour, right? Because people always react to that, and it's kind of fun, right? So I'm going to have a call to action, and it needs to have something to do with leading to the happy hour, okay? So that these 3 days before, I can be having conversations and getting people into this happy hour, okay? So when I'm talking about the Bella package, what are some of the things that, I'm going to have a big call to action again just before, which is literally going to be like, hey guys, I'm having an event, who wants to come? I'm going to have maybe a smaller happy hour, a smaller call to action here. Like where I'm going to ask them a question. You also struggle with, so I'm going to share a story, maybe my story around something with the Bella package. Something where they're saying yes or no, or share your experience. Sometimes I like a medium to be a little bit more than just a yes or no, but it's like, share your experience with blah, 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 blah. So most of my clients, and most of the people I interact with have autoimmune or fibromyalgia. So maybe I'm going to talk about like the direct link between gut health and inflammation and pain. And I could say something like, hey, have you noticed a direct link with, eating certain foods and having a flare up? Tell me more. That would be like a bigger call to action. And what I like, especially when it goes with the Bella package, you can say like, drop a GIF, that sort of thing. It's like, how do you feel about your metabolism? Or how do you feel, like for me, like whenever you have a flare up, that sort of thing, because it's fun, it's easy, and people react to that. Okay. So now I'm going to have posts, and I know I need to create posts that are very specific to inviting to that happy hour. okay, and getting people in. More than about 3 to 4 days out is almost a little too long. You could be dropping hints, right? So like this week, you know, maybe I'm going to have some posts that are about Mental Health Awareness Month, right? Dropping some hints, basically, you know, I have an event coming or whatever. I wouldn't say I have an event coming, but like breadcrumbing, just giving some information. And then so that when they get here and they have these bigger calls to action, then they're like, oh, okay, she's been sharing about this. Now I'm ready to get in on it. Okay. So that's where I start when I come up with my, my calendar. The next thing I do is I'm going to say, okay, what else do I want to have talk about for the month? Okay. So if for the month, I'm going to talk about mental health awareness the whole month, then I want to have some value posts. Okay. Value post means you're just giving them value. You're not selling anything. You're not telling them about soul. You're just giving value and information. So that's where maybe I'm going to come back here. Oh, and what would be a good post? Signs that you're emotionally exhausted. Maybe I'm going to do a post about that. That's going to be one of my value posts. One of my value posts is going to be like, how can you have self-care when you struggle with anxiety or whatever? Okay. Maybe one of my value posts is going to be 5 foods that have been researched to reduce anxiety or whatever, something like that. Okay. That's a value post. And then asking as a call to action, something like, hey, if you found this helpful, feel free to share it with a friend who might find it helpful. Okay, that's a great call to action. Comment below how you're going to have self-care today, right? Those are calls to action that are really easy. And I think we can all agree that when we are interacting with people on their walls and working on our CRMs, and you're trying to interact and people are like, and you're like, I don't even know what to do. Like I could like it, I can love it, I don't know how to comment. People like it when you tell them how to respond, okay? Tell them what you want them to say. And that's what a call to action is. And that's why we want to have a call to action with every single post, whether it's a small post, even a fun post, even just like, hey, a throwback Thursday Thursday of all the crazy hairstyles I've had, right? I always say this because my she's had quite a few funky hairstyles. So I'm like, this would be a perfect post for her. You could share some pictures of all your hairstyles and be like, hey, why don't you give me a throwback Thursday to one of your past hairstyles or something like that. Whatever it is, you can throw those fun posts in there, and you should throw those fun posts in there. But the more we're having a call to action, you're basically training your audience to respond and to comment on your posts. And as they become trained on doing that on a daily basis, even with fun things, when you hit these big posts, guess what they're going to do? They're going to respond. But also when they're responding, they're dropping a GIF, they're commenting, they're sharing a picture of their kids, you know, whatever it is, that boosts your algorithm. So those same people that are commenting on those fun posts, now they're more likely to see these posts. Okay. So that's why we always want to have a call to action, not just when we're trying to, you know, get people into an event. Does that make sense? So what you can do is you can use this, right? I also plug in holidays, right? So I've plugged in Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, Memorial Day. I don't know if I'm missing anything. I think those are the 3 big ones for the month, because, you know, you can have a post related to those things in there. I like to kind of sprinkle in, where am I going to have my value posts? You know, kind of some behind the scenes, like what does my day look like? Some inspirational quotes, sometimes like a funny meme or something like that. And as a call to action, I might be like, okay, drop your funny meme down below, right? Because we want them to respond. So these are just some ideas of some content that you can post on, okay? Throwback Thursday, my first job. And I could say, hey, what was your first job, right? So even though these are fun, they're not related to soul, they're not related, they're fun things that people like and enjoy, they comment on, so that when I do have those happy hours, they comment on, okay? So obviously it's up to you. You can come through here and say, every Tuesday is going to be Tasty Tuesday and I'm going to share a recipe. Great. Okay. Every Wednesday is going to be Wellness Wednesday. Maybe that's when you're going to share your value post. So what are you going to post about on Wellness Wednesday? Okay. Maybe Fridays are all going to be Fun Fact Fridays. You can design this calendar however you want. The thing is, this is really going to help you set the stage for writing your content and keeping you on track. At least it does for me, because I'm like, I know that if I have a happy hour here or an event here, right, then I need to focus on inviting. And I don't want to be like, oh, I forgot, and now it's tomorrow and I haven't posted anything about it, right? I haven't had any conversations. So that's going to help with that. So I wanted today to be a bit of a work day. I want you to start by creating your content calendar, or you can use mine. Okay. I also dropped the Excel if you would rather do Excel, and just make sure you make a copy of it. Schedule some time in your week. So take out that calendar and say, when are you going to do content creation? So yesterday, I actually sat down, I had time blocked off in my calendar to do content creation yesterday. I have content creation time scheduled for Friday as well to finish things up. I always suggest that you put your posts and write them in a Word doc so that you can reuse them. This is how we work smarter, not harder, okay? I frequently do this. I have an entire folder where it's like I started doing this in like 2018 or 19, and I can go back and I can see every post I posted in May of 2018, 2019, 2020, and I can look at those and be like, oh, that's a good post. Copy, paste, use them again. Because guess what? Nobody remembers if you had already posted that thing 3 months ago or 4 months ago or a year ago. Nobody knows. So some of those best posts that that do well, that are great, you can tweak them, you can change the image that goes with them, reuse them, okay? The more you do this, the more you have to pull from, okay? So when I had cornea surgery, literally that's all I did, because I thought I was only going to not see for a week, and it ended up being a month. So how easy was it for me to just go back and pull old posts, copy, paste, and put them in there? Okay, so then I wasn't recreating content. Work on having at least the first 7 posts written for the month of May. And I would, give yourself, we're obviously not going to do that in 15 minutes on a call, but you're going to set some time aside on your calendar, right, to do that. So if you have some time set aside in the next few days to work on content, you can at least have the first 7 days posted. Okay, and we just talked about plugging in when are your happy hours, make some of those big call to actions 3 to 4 days before the event so that you can have conversations and invite them. And of course, creating images for your posts. So today what I wanted to do is I just wanted to give you time to do this. You can print this out and start filling it in. You can print out mine. I shared both of them in the Facebook chat. And I also shared the this Google Doc, a blank one before I messed with it, okay? I think what's on there is I think I left the happy hours on there and the holidays, but everything else is blank so that you can kind of go through and start filling it in as you want. So I'm just gonna put on some music. If you're like, I need some help, I want some guidance, then I can help you do that. Otherwise, we're just gonna spend some time working on our content for next month. Sound good? Any questions before I stop the recording and
I don't have a question, but a light bulb went off because I hadn't connected it. I don't know why, but all of what Soul is putting out for May, they're literally giving you a calendar of mental health. And with Bella, happy hour being the end of the month, you guys, that is totally 100% connected. So
yeah. Did you guys see that calendar yesterday?